I'm Jade and I've worked in the volunteering department at Demelza Children's Hospice for just over 6 years now. So when I started there, I started in administration and then kind of worked around lots of different roles in the department. And now I look after the recruiting, training and supporting volunteers that are directly helping the children and families that we work with. So yeah, at Demelza we have kind of just over 1,100 volunteers across the whole organisation. We have 2 hospice buildings, we have a community team, and then we've got lots of fundraisers, and we also have 28 charity shops across the organisation. So yeah, that's basically a bit about us. Before having Better Impact, we used to use kind of as many workarounds and different systems and try and make them work for us. So our fundraising team had DonorFlex as their main kind of central database, and we used to store all of our volunteer data on there. But the thing with DonorFlex was that all the different departments that input into it would cancel out our records. So every week when we'd run a full list of our volunteers, there'd be people missing. We'd have to then manually try and find them from the week before and put them back on. And also it meant other people could edit the volunteer records, and they just weren't secure for us. We also had a lot of paper going on in the office. So all of our application records were done by paper. We would then kind of manually have to input them every week into DonorFlex and into different spreadsheets. We then had a support services database that would do kind of all of the imports, exports that we had to then manually put our volunteering stuff into. And how we used to kind of manage everything was via spreadsheets, different records. So things like our volunteers training, volunteer hours, things like that was all manually input on spreadsheets for us to try and keep a track of it. We also kind of had volunteers that were helping us manually put these things in, but also when there's kind of manual data entry, things do tend to go wrong and there's mistakes. And also data could get lost or corrupted. When we finally got it approved that we could go out and look for something, we started to speak to other organisations. So we spoke to a lot of other hospices about what they used. And from there, we had kind of demo talks with around 5 different companies. And initially they were video call demonstrations, a bit like this. And then when we got down to the kind of final 2 options, our department preferred Better Impact, but our HR team wanted us to get the same one that they had, which was Cascade. So we had 2 face-to-face kind of demonstrations. So we've had Better Impact volunteering program since about April 2017, was kind of when we started looking for things. We talked about it a lot in our team about how much we wanted something just for volunteers, but kind of we didn't have the budget buy-in and kind of other departments' needs overtook ours. So we finally kind of started the journey of seriously looking in April 2017. Why we picked Volunteer Impact, we loved the enterprise feature on it. So because we have lots of different departments, we could restrict access for what managers could see what volunteers. So how we have it set up on the system is kind of each shop has its own little area and the managers can only see their area. Also, it was going to be hugely time saving for us. So things like when someone applied, which is my online application forms, it would automatically create their record. So it wasn't a paper form that had to make its way to us that we'd then have to put on the system. It was automatically done. They set up their own profile and they could edit their own profile as well. And also kind of the extra features that came with it. So volunteers being able to log their hours and being able to create rotas. We just thought it had so much kind of built around what we needed for volunteers. But yeah, and especially kind of the online application forms was, I don't think we'd even considered that before we started looking, but it gave us our own kind of online recruitment page, our own landing page. So when we wanted to advertise what roles we'd got, it all went on there straight away. We didn't have to talk to marketing to get them put on the main website. We could control exactly what was on there and people can apply directly and it creates their volunteer profile. So that they were kind of the main reasons that we went with volunteer impact.